Hey everybody, it's Jake Mace. You guys have known me to this point as the Vegan Athlete. I started sharing videos here on my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel years ago because I wanted like a video journal about my vegan experience, the food I was eating and just things I did as a vegan and talks and philosophy that I had as a vegan person. And it became a gardening channel because in about 2011 I started gardening in the desert. And I thought, this is kind of fun. I like to make videos about gardening, so I just documented my gardening experience in my desert garden in Arizona for you guys and for me, so I can look back and see my video journal. And I figured you guys might like to come along for the ride and kind of be a fly on the wall and see what a desert vegan gardener does to grow a little food forest. And then I went through some changes in my life. You guys can watch all that on my channel here. And my girlfriend Nicole and I decided to travel the world to see countries we'd never seen before, to volunteer on farms, meet people, and experience different cultures. And I've been uploading those videos piece by piece here on my Vegan Athlete channel. And right now we're caught up with Paris, France, and we still have to upload our experiences in Tenerife, Canary Islands, Greece, Normandy, as well as India, Thailand, China, and Hawaii. But I want to take a break from the travel videos for a second, and I want to talk to you guys about what's happening in my life currently. For a long time, I have wanted to live off the grid. And for a long time, I've wanted to have acreage. I'm going to change arms because my arm's getting tired. But I'm not a rich guy. I don't have a lot of money to spend. So I don't have the amount of money to buy acreage in a big city. And it's difficult to live off grid in a big city because you're kind of at the mercy of the millions of people who live in a big city and all the bureaucracy and zoning that goes along with that. So as Nicole and I were traveling the world, we were experiencing different farms and people and foods and cultures and languages. And I started thinking a lot during my downtime about what's important to me and what I really want out of life. And personally, as a martial artist, I have a martial arts YouTube channel you can watch as well. I do a lot of Chinese martial arts, Tai Chi and Qigong and meditation. And Nicole does a bunch of yoga. And through meditation, I've always been interested in death. And I've always tried to meditate thinking about my death. I know that sounds grim, but stick with me. I've always wanted to ponder what happens after we die. Friends of mine always say they fear the pain that might be associated with dying. I've never really feared any kind of pain, but I fear the unknown. I don't know what happens after you die, and nobody does on earth, no matter what religion you do or atheist, whatever. Nobody knows what happens when you die. And that's always an interesting question for me to think about and talk about to myself through meditation, during meditation. Two things I know for sure that I want to happen as I'm dying. One, I want to have the people that I care about most, my friends and family, to give me a living funeral. I read this book called Tuesdays with Morrie. It's a really good book. You guys should read it. And this guy has a living funeral. He has a funeral while he's still alive so that all his friends and family can tell him all the good things that they love about him while he can still hear it. It made me cry when I was reading the book, and I thought that was a really great thing. And I want that too. Number two, as I'm dying, whether I'm walking into nature as I'm dying, whether I'm on a deathbed, surrounded by family and friends, no matter what it is, as I'm dying, I don't want to think about the time that I wasted on social media. And I don't want to think about the time I wasted on the frivolous things of life, you know. I don't want to say that A, B, and C is a waste of time because you guys might love A, B, and C. But for me, I don't want to think that I wasted years of my life experiencing other people's lives, you know, through media. I don't want to think about that I wasted my life at all. I definitely don't want to think about that I wasted years of my life sitting in traffic in the city. And I definitely do not want to think about that I wasted my life working for somebody else. And so as we were traveling during the downtime, I really thought what I want to think back on when I'm dying is that I lived off the grid and I built my own house and that I worked to get clean, renewable energy, and that I learned how to do all these things myself, for myself, and for my family. and that I grew a food forest with fruit trees and a garden, and that I became as close to being at one with nature as possible without dying, because I believe the only way to really be at one with nature is to die and let your body go back into the soil. But if you're going to be alive for 100 years or so as a human, I want to live at one with nature as close as I can. So I want to wear organic clothing, and I want to live organically, and I want to live off the grid as much as possible, and I want to own my own land with no debt. So I don't have much money at all, but the little bit that I did, I went and bought a property that's really far off grid. It's really far off grid. And it's the kind of property that would scare most people. When you guys go watch my old videos about my desert garden, that was a 1/3 of an acre property that was for sale because it scared most people. If you watch the early videos, you'll see it mostly just clay. And the property had been on the market for years because that kind of property scares most people. Most people see a 1/3 of an acre backyard and they get scared. They don't know what to do. You know, they're working for a company, they're driving to work in traffic, and they don't have the time or the ideas or the creativity or the skills to manage a 1/3 of an acre. It just looks like a big landscaping headache to them. But to me, I saw a city forest, a city food forest, a city garden, an urban farm. I wasn't scared of that. And now that I've acquired some basic skills regarding contracting, regarding clean energy installation, regarding growing my own food and obtaining my own water, having an off-grid property, having some acreage in a very, very, very remote location doesn't scare me anymore. And actually it excites me. So from this point on, my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel is going to change again. It's still going to be a video journal about my life, and I'm still going to upload videos probably every day from this point on about my life. And you guys are welcome to come along for the ride as a fly on the wall to live a little bit with me. And I want to garden with y'all. I want to grow fruit trees and raise beds with you. I want to make compost. I want to make vermiculture, worm soil. I want to grow my own food. I want to have clean energy with wind, solar, maybe geothermal. I want to build my own house. I want to build my own house multiple ways. I want to have like a little yurt house. And then I want to also build a house out of cob, which is basically out of mud, like an adobe house, out of sand, clay, and straw. And I want to bring you guys along on this adventure with me. There are going to be some rules about my videos coming up. Rule number 1 is I don't like the hate comments anymore. So I'm going to play more of a role as a moderator to just delete and kick off anybody that has any hate to give, because, you know, it's my channel and I'd have that right. If you guys want to make a channel and make hate videos, you can do that. YouTube is free to open an account. So I'm going to delete most of the hate comments from this point on. Number 2, I want to be a little bit anonymous. I don't want to tell you guys exactly where I am, so don't ask. Just enjoy the videos. I will tell you that I live in Canada. I was born in Canada. And I'm going to be in British Columbia. This location that I am going to be living on is very remote. Roads don't go to it. It's boat access only. The only way to get to it is with a boat. And that also scares most people. But it's not scaring me because that excites me. I like that aspect of it. And those are kind of the only 2 rules. I want you guys to be inspired by the videos. I want you to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. And I want you to know that I'm not some special guy. I'm not an expert. I'm not perfect. I just have some goals in mind. I want to work hard to achieve those goals. And when I work hard, I want that work to go into me. I don't want that work to go to somebody else. So I'm going to apply that work toward my own property here. And this is the property behind me. If you guys can see, this road that I'm walking on was a road that was put in by the hydroelectric power company because technically up the way there's a few hydroelectric power poles that you could tap into if you wanted to. They border the property, but they don't come past that point. So if you want to install more power poles, it's $10,000 per pole. I don't have that kind of scratch. So we could put a transformer on that pole and tap into the grid and put in our own meter. That's also going to cost a lot of money, and I can't afford that at first. So I got some solar panels and I got some battery backups, and we're going to use that to get started. But besides that little dirt road there, this is the property. Literally full of trees. If you guys subscribe, like my videos, hit the like button, hit the bell button, and play in the comments then YouTube will notify you when my new videos come out, and I'll reveal more information to you guys as we go. So this is part of the property here, completely full of trees. It's a forest property. There's no open areas in it. It's completely full to the brim of trees. The only way we are going to be able to make any life in there is by clearing a space ourselves, cutting down trees. This is the other half of the property over here. Okay, this is also full of trees. They're 40, 50 years old. They're beautiful, but it's thick. It's dense. And I got to get in there with a chainsaw and clear some space for a living area, some space for a garden. There's no sunlight in there. The trees are taking it up. This is a 100% raw land property. There is literally nothing here, and everything that Nicole and I will have in the future will be because she and I built it ourselves. What we have done so far is we've brought in the Spirit Bear to the property, the van, and we're gonna run this guy off used vegetable oil. It's a diesel engine, it can do that. And you hear us running right now because we have heat on in there. It's super early in the morning, sun just came up, and we're sleeping in the van. We've converted it to have a bed and to have storage in there. And the van's engine will recharge a couple of battery backups that we have. And those battery backups will charge our gear, like our computers and our cell phone and our cameras. Underneath this tarp is everything that we own. Okay. You'll see there's tarps here and here. We had to bring all this to the property ourselves, and we have some footage of all that to show you guys. It rains a lot here, 60 inches of rain a year. Yeah, you heard that right, 60 inches of rain a year. It rains a lot. We lucked out and we happened to move to the property during a time in which it is not raining for a week. Super lucky. It's a really cool microclimate out here in this area where it doesn't snow in the wintertime. There is some ice on the ground, you guys can see, but it doesn't snow in the winter time. It only gets down to about 0 Celsius. It's about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the summertime, it only gets about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, about 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. So it's a cool little temperate microclimate, and we're actually in what they consider a rainforest, a temperate Pacific Northwest rainforest. Nicole is not a Canadian. She's technically not living here yet. She's only on a travel visa, and she has to go back to America because she's still an American citizen. But we've already applied to have her become a permanent resident, and she's going through that process. So during this whole adventure, Nicole will be on an adventure to try to become a permanent resident of Canada. I'm gonna open up the tarps later on and show you guys what's underneath here. I don't want to show you yet though, so stay tuned. But underneath these tarps are certain things that we need to survive out here. And they're tarped up in case it does rain. It's supposed to rain in about 5 days from now. Nothing will get ruined. The way that we got the vehicle over here and the way that we got the materials over here is through a barge. We had to hire a barge to bring our vehicle over to the property on the water. And now we have a vehicle over here on the water that's kind of landlocked. And we have a very inexpensive used boat that connects us to the mainland. For the past 1 year or so, most of the people who follow me here on YouTube or social media have said, Jake, you know, are you ever gonna garden again? And when are you gonna start your new garden? Well, this is the announcement of me starting my new garden. And I would love for you guys to garden at home and grow your own food, whether you're in a raw property, whether you're off the grid, whether you're in the city, it doesn't matter. Grow your own food, even if it's just a little herb garden or a tower garden or a kitchen windowsill garden. Grow your food. And I'm gonna be here to show you guys how I do it, inspire you hopefully through the videos, and show you some tricks of the gardening trade along the way. But that's where the garden's gonna be, inside there. Today we have to do 3 things. Number 1, we have to build a new boat that we got. It's a blow-up boat that's very energy efficient. It's gonna allow us to go fast along the water and cover distances between the boat access only property and the mainland using very, very little fuel. I'm gonna show you guys that boat. Number 2, we gotta build a little temporary compost toilet because Nicole and I have to do some work in there and we gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna show you guys what we got, free materials we got to build this makeshift compost toilet. And number 3, we haven't officially walked the survey markers yet of the property and done our own marking as to where the boundaries and the borders of the property are. We have all the zoning maps, blueprints, and schematics. But we have to go and walk the property today and find the markers that were put in place a few years ago. And we thought we would take you guys along for that journey. It's early in the morning. It's about 0 degrees outside today. The bears are sleeping because it's just the first part of March, but the bobcats and the wolves are out. There's resident blackfish out in the water. The ocean is a 2-minute walk down the road. Those are the orcas, the killer whales. They call them the blackfish. Mach inu. I love whales. They're my spirit animal, I always tell people. And this area is known for killer whales, orca, blackfish, mach inu, in the Kwak'walan language. There's a lot of history here of the first peoples that lived here, and I want to bring you guys along for that as well. I want to talk to you guys about the history and the culture of this area. So decided we were going to call the property Blackfish. And when I yell out, "Woo!" there's a tremendous echo. It sounds hollow through this entire area. So we're going to call this property the Blackfish Hollow, the hollow of the Mach Inu. I'm a positive guy, and I think the only chance that Nicole and I have to survive and succeed with this off-grid adventure is to be positive and to be there for each other. I don't have very much money. What you guys can do to help us out is when you're watching our videos, leave an amazing comment. Play in the comments with us. I love responding to amazing people in the comments. Tell me who you are, introduce yourselves. Subscribe and hit the bell button and turn on the post notifications for my channel here. Share this video on all your social media. Share it with your friends. And if you really want to make a financial donation to our cause, our Patreon is down below. You can become one of our patrons. And yes, we will have special gifts for the patrons coming up. For now, we got to get some basic needs of life met. Boat, survey, compost toilet. Let's get started.
What are you doing, babe?
Our first meal. I think being out here is really tough. The fact that we have nothing out here is basically just camping right now. So Nicole and I are trying to have a good meal, get warm. Then we're gonna go stomp into the property and find the markers that mark the survey, mark the border.
What are you making for lunch?
Mac and cheese. So doing the day of mac and cheese. Can we get the garden started so we can actually be eating off the grid?
Yeah.
But for now we got this kind of stuff. So we got mac and cheese, roasted red peppers I'm gonna cook up and dice up. And we're doing it all in this cast iron pot. Luckily Nicole's dad is a stud, and he had this grill that he gave to us, and he even had this propane tank that he gave to us. So because I don't want to do a campfire yet, because this is the road that technically is public, even though nobody's out here. So we want to do our campfire in the property, which we haven't decided where we're gonna do that yet. So today we're using the Wineland grill. You know, I'm inspired by my friend Aaron Chamberlain back in Phoenix and all his outdoor cooking that he does. And I have aspirations of becoming one of the foremost outdoor cooks there are. So this is the beginning of the journey. And we got some nice veg, mac and cheese going. Check it out. Pane down there, bringing some fire down below. We got some nice veg going on with the red peppers, bok choy, onions, garlic, spices. Oh yeah, gonna add that to our mac and cheese and have a nice hearty vegan meal. How's that mac and cheese coming?
Good.
Okay, the last remnants of my old garden, 50-50 mixed with our friends at Axosoft's garden.
Oh.
What is it?
Moringa powder all in one spot.
Whoa. That's dehydrated moringa leaves?
Yes.
Nice.
Mm-mm-mm.
Good? Going for the first time to find the borders.
Yes, sir.
It's already been surveyed in 2011. We have a schematic and a layout of the property with all the legend that shows all the different markers. Okay, this is the final power pole on the property, and this power pole borders our property on this side. Then there's the road. On the other side, there's actually a second property. It's actually 2 lots that we're combining into one. So the first lot is back there, bordering the power pole. The second lot is up here, and it's 45 degrees from the power pole, only about 30 meters or so from that power pole. And lo and behold, I see a white marker right there. Here's the first marker. This is like an Easter egg hunt combined with a little Indiana Jones. It's kind of fun. I could be a surveyor, it'd be really fun. And the surveyor I talked to on the phone, really great guy, he's a pilot, runs a surveying firm out here, and he said we want to find these white markers and there should be rebar with orange or some kind of a tag right in front of the white marker. So here's the white marker, and then there's this little cairn of rocks, and there's the rebar pounded in right there. So I know that this is one corner of our property.
What did you find?
Here, I'll show you, come on. So these are raw land properties, but the reason why I got them is because they already had a water well drilled. There's no pump yet, but there's no power yet, no pump, but the well has been drilled, and I have all the documentation for the well. So I found the well of this lot right here. It even says right here, it says Province of British Columbia, well identification number 3. So in my files here, if I pull up my well information, I bet you that I have that number somewhere on my documentation. Yep, I have here 2011 British Columbia, the well document, and it says here Ministry Well ID plate number 3. This is really fun.
Awesome.
It's really fun. I really love it. I'm not the crying type, but I really enjoy this. Okay, let's get in there and see what our property looks like.
All right. Oh, I didn't even know there's a spider right there. Oh, cool.
Little guy?
Yeah.
The actual spider's there?
Yeah.
There's like a bog or a stream down here that runs. Woo! So definitely like a water accumulation area down here. We need to somehow use that for fruit trees or something. Even though this area is so wet anyways, like 60 inches plus of rain a year, we need to still utilize the highs and the lows to make a permaculture system. I mean, the ground beneath me is so spongy. Look at this moss, it's so amazing. Like a bed right here is so fluffy. Gotta find that second marker. And if you guys look down the right here, you'll see, if the camera can pick that up, there's pink all the way down, like a straight line all the way down there. Pink goes all the way down because surveyors have marked the border between this lot and our lot. So we're gonna follow this property line thinking that surveyors have been here before. They probably cut a little trail, and we can make our way all the way down to find the second white marker. What do you think?
It's beautiful.
Woo! Look at the trees up top. Okay, the pink keeps coming through here.
Did you just do that? Pull down so easy.
Did you find it?
Yeah, it's right here. Do you think this is it?
Does it say 1-2 on it?
It says 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah.
That's good because 3 is the unmarked lot. Does it have the rebar in front?
It does, yep. With the pink.
Nice. And it has the 2 on it?
Yes, on this side.
Cool. This is like Indiana Jones. Found the third marker. Okay, back out the front. Here's the fourth one. Should say 2 on it. Yeah, it says 2. And also, yeah. So we got all 4 corners. How beautiful are these trees right here? They're so beautiful, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna build a much more lavish compost toilet coming up. I've got a great model based off of somebody else I saw on YouTube doing an incredible compost toilet in a different country. I forget what country, like New Zealand or something. They had a great system where they would go to the bathroom in a toilet like normal, and then every time they would put in the wood shavings or pine pellets or the carbon source, and then once the bucket underneath the toilet was full with paper products and waste, there was no running water, no flushing, no septic. They just put a top on the bucket. The bucket has holes in it, and they'd put the bucket out in the garden for like a year. So do this like 12 different buckets, and after a year, the bucket from 12 months earlier, worms crawled in those holes, bugs crawled in those holes, microbes, and they turned all the waste and carbon source into perfect soil that then they put on their fruit trees. And personally, I am not going to put it in my raised beds, but I will put it on fruit trees. And that way it's been composting for about a year. So it's a great way to close the circle and use your own body to create some awesome compost. So I'm going to build a temporary one for the time being because we have nothing out here and we don't want to be just squatting all around all the time. We want to have the compost started. So I'm just going to take this scrap wood I got from a local scrap yard all for free. I did pay like $10 for this seat that lifts up. And we're gonna build like a little box that's high enough for my bucket to go underneath, and then put the seat on there, and then take it out onto our property, into our forest property, and little private area, and we'll have that be the compost toilet for the time being. So let's get started. It's gonna be dark in about an hour and a half. That right there is going to be the bucket. I'm going to drill a whole bunch of holes in that guy, and then I got the lid for it. And we're going to cap that thing. We'll never have to touch it, look at it, or deal with the waste until a year later when it's all perfectly black, usable compost. It's 2 feet tall. Got to go 2 feet up. Shout out to my man Derek, DIY Homestead Projects. I'm just gonna put a little step on there so you have like a step for your feet. This is so awkward to have on camera. Do you want to come try this out? Sure. Okay. Let me know if you like the squatty potty style footrest to kind of put you in a squat position. And then you just open this up and it goes all the way back, and then there's a 15-gallon trash can in there.
All right.
And we'll throw, you know, equal amounts wood shavings or carbon source, like pine pellets, wood shavings when you go to the bathroom, and then it will never smell. You just close it when you're done. And when the canister in there is filled, we just pull it out the back and cap it right away and go tuck it in the corner of our property, and then 6 to 12 months later, worms will get in there and turn it into real compost. Because I'm going to poke a bunch of holes in that can, like I'm going to drill holes so that worms and microbes can get in there and turn it into compost. I'm freezing. Cool. I'm sorry, I'm freezing.
It is really cold.
Yeah.
I really like the feet rest.
You do?
And they always say it's better to like have your feet up like this to help bowel movements go easier, I guess. I don't know. But this is nice.
You like it?
I do. Alright, I gotta go check on dinner. It might be burning.
Thanks for making dinner.
Thank you for making a potty. Squatty potty.
Hey, thanks for making dinner.
You're welcome. It's not much, but it smells good.
What's in there?
Alright, we got potatoes, carrots, onions, and bell peppers in here, and then a bunch of spices.
Nice. You look cold, babe. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
It's okay. This is keeping me warm.
We'll have a fire pit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or the next day at the latest.
I can't wait.
Nice kitchen.
Thanks.
You got a carport behind you.
Yeah.
That'll be up soon too.
Yes. Oh, and we also have avocado that's going with this from Miami Fruit. So we got an avocado that is ripe.
Oh, let me see that thing. It's as
ready
big as
to
your
go.
head.
It's ready.
Wow. Oh my god, we're gonna have that tonight.
Yes.
Miami Fruit is so bomb.
Yes.
MiamiFruit.org. Get tropical fruit shipped right to your house. Discount with coupon code Jake Mace, all caps, all one word. Hey, nice pants.
Thanks.
There's some hella cool, sexy, oh my god, carpenter pants.
They're very nice. They're already getting a little dirty.
I love them, they look great on you. Basically making a worm bin, because ultimately when it's full we cap it and throw it in the compost area. All the worms, microbes, and other bugs will find their way in these holes and they'll live in there like a worm bin. They'll turn it into compost. Alright, it's ready to go inside and it's ready to get dirty, you know what I mean? Alright, move the compost toilet into position, and this is how it's going to work for the time being. This is the temporary one. And again, built with all free materials except for the toilet seat, which was $10, and the can, the 15-gallon can underneath, which was also $10. So 20 bucks total. This is the lid. Take this off. This opens. You go to the bathroom. And then when you're done, we just got a bag of pine pellets here, 100% pine pellets, so it's like 100% carbon, and I've used this before in a compost tumbler. It's a great carbon source that neutralizes all the nitrogen, and your waste when you go to the bathroom is nitrogen, and it smells because it's only got the nitrogen in there. So if you mix it with the carbon, it neutralizes all the smell and turns it into good soil with a long enough compost period. Like, we're gonna let this compost for 6 to 12 months. So once you're done, you just take a couple handfuls of that, whatever you want, cover your stuff up, close it, and in the future we're gonna get some like wood shavings and wood chips to put in there as well. And then it just smells like pine over here. We're gonna cover it back up. Protect this guy from rain.
First official day on the property.
It's so good. This is so good.
Yeah?
You did a great job.
Thank you.
It's spiced really well.
How about it overspiced? Yeah, but
I don't care. I love it.
that's good.
Thank you, Chef Nicole. Miami fruit avocado.
Yeah.
A+.
I have all the other fruit hanging over here. So they
She has it in like this cute net. Hanging in this little net bag.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and bananas.
I need to put all the meme and stuff that's on our boat. Hey Baldy,
Hey.
is your head cold?
No, I love when my head is shaved. I know it looks different when you shave your head, but whenever I look back at videos I made in the past that has my head shaved, I love it. I think it looks good and it feels so good.
Looks good.
Good
Okay, what are
feel.
you gonna be doing? Oh.
For good luck.
Ooh. There is some still hair that's not completely bald.
It's a little short. Like usually I do just a 2, but something happened. I had to do a 1 this time. But next time I'll do just a 2. So it's not.
You
usually
can
this
say
short.
it. Nicole messed up your hair.
Well, you're just practicing, and I said don't worry to mess up because if you do, I'll just shave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So how are you gonna make it warmer in here? Because I'm freezing.
Okay, so a lot of you might want to see how Nicole and I are getting power for the time being while we're out here, and it's difficult to get solar right now because we're in British Columbia, and the sun is low in the southern horizon, and there's 40-foot plus trees all around us, so we are kind of in the shade, and there's not enough sun now on us until we clear some trees out and get the summer higher sun on us. So we have to use our van. So our van is on while we're hanging out at night, while we're editing videos, while we're getting entertainment, while we're hanging out together. The engine's on, the heat of the van is on, and we are charging up a battery. So if you see this battery right here, it's called a Jackery. See that? It's a Jackery battery. I got this off Amazon, and this battery is so awesome. So right here, this cord is plugged into a cigarette lighter, and the car is charging the battery. At the same time, both Nicole's and my phones are charging in those USB ports, and I ran one of our DSLR batteries down, so my camera, my Canon battery is charging as well. So it can also hook into a cigarette lighter. So we have both phones. This is going from the cigarette lighter of the car, so this is power coming into the battery, this is power going out to our gadgets, and this is power going out to our gadgets. So $200 and some odd. This battery is our lifesaver right now. Nicole's dad is an electrician. He's saved our life because he hooked us up with the grill and propane tank outside. So shout out to Nicole's dad, Ron. And he also hooked us up with this right here, which is a car battery basically that we charged up with solar panels. So this is going to be, for the time being, the way that we're going to store power from the sun. So when we do put the panels out, it'll go into this battery right here. Nicole's dad Ron also got us this inverter from Harbor Freight. So the energy goes from this battery into this gadget called an inverter that we got from Harbor Freight, and then it has 2 plugs on it, and we can turn it on and plug something in, like our computer or whatever. So I already tried this with the computer, and it charges up the laptop perfectly. We can also use the Jackery battery to charge up the laptop, but there's our plugs there. It also has a USB right there. So we just take the positive and negative terminals on this and plug it onto the car battery. Ooh. That was because I accidentally turned this on. No, I turned it on to do the demo for you guys.
Oh.
And I should have had it in off position, so there. There's energy in there. So now, if I turn that on, the green light comes on.
Woohoo.
It's a good sign, right? And if I take this guy, I'm gonna hold it up so you guys can see. Always the wrong way first. Why? Anybody else have that problem? Do you plug stuff in upside down first?
Is it too much power?
Doesn't like it. Maybe
we're so excited. Why are we excited?
Because I realized that when I bought this, I forgot that it has a 75 watt option and a 150 watt option. And I had it on the 150 watt option before, too much power. So I turned it down to the lower setting. And now when I turn it on, watch. I can feel it buzzing. The light came on and oh my gosh, put your hand here.
Yay!
Put your hand there.
Oh, it feels so nice.
How warm is that?
It's so warm.
That'll heat us up.
Heavenly.
So now we can have this on. This, by the way, if people want to see at home, is called a Centec from Harbor Freight. Can you guys read that on there? Really good system we have for beginning our off-grid adventure. We can charge this battery with solar during the day, draw off it at night to have heat or power for gadgets. Just keep it on the lower setting.
I'm happy.